Hi, my dear students. Myself, Anush Sidaran, Academic Director and Biology Faculty of Rankings Entrance Training Academy. I welcome all of you in my new video lesson. Today, I am going to talk about the chapter How Do Organisms Reproduce, Part 5. As you know, in the last video lesson, we have discussed about the process of sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Dear students, today I am going to discuss about reproduction in humans. Okay, you are very familiar. Human beings are showing sexual mode of reproduction. It's actually occur by the fusion of gametes from two individuals. Human reproductive system is quite complex and highly evolved. The system in male and female are structurally different. At a certain definite age only, the reproductive system in males and females becomes functional and active. You are very familiar. This age group is called puberty. Males attain puberty around 13 to 14 years of age, while the females attain puberty around 10 to 12 years of age. You are very familiar, a lot of changes occur during puberty in both males and females. First of all, we have to discuss about some of the important changes occur commonly in both boys and girls. You are very familiar, increases in height and weight, growth of pubic hair, growth of oil glands in face, self-conscious of our own bodies. All of these changes actually takes place very slowly over a period of months and years. But some changes are specific. You are very familiar. The development of breast in girls, menstruation begins in girls, okay? Facial hair developed in boys, voice begins to crack in boys, and occasional enlargement and erection of penis in boys. Okay, all these changes are specific in girls and boys. Okay, first of all, we have to discuss about the male reproductive system. Dear students, this is the diagrammatic representation showing the male reproductive system. It consisting of a pair of testes. This is the testis. Okay. Vas deferens. This tubular structure is called the vas deferens. And this is the urethra. Okay. Seminal vesicles. Okay. Special glands are called seminal vesicles and prostate glands. Let me discuss in detail about each and every parts. Okay, first of all, testes. You are very familiar. Two oval-shaped testes are located outside the abdominal cavity in a sac-like structure called a scrotum. This is a scrotum. Can you see it? Okay, the oval-shaped testes are located outside the abdominal cavity in a sac-like structure called a scrotum. Okay, it produces the germ cells or the sperms and male sex hormones called testosterone. Do you know the importance of scrotum? Yes, it provides the optimal temperature for the formation of sperms. Okay, the second one is called vas deferens. You can see from each testis, it's originate a short tube called a vas deferens that carries the sperms into the seminal vesicles. Okay, that particular tube we can collectively call the vas deferens. Dear students, the vas deferens unites with a tube coming from the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder and opens into the urethra. The urethra actually forms a common passage for both the sperms and urine. Then the seminal vesicles and prostate glands. Dear students, these two glands are called seminal vesicles and prostate glands. They are special associated glands which pour their secretions into the urethra for the nourishment and motility of the sperms. This is the diagrammatic representation of a single male gamete or sperm. You are very familiar. The sperms are tiny bodies that consist of mainly genetic material and a long tail. Can you see? It's actually having specific regions. This is the head region, this is the middle piece, and this is the tail, which really help the motility of the sperms. Dear students, let me discuss about the female reproductive system. This is the diagrammatic representation showing female reproductive system. Okay, the female reproductive system is more complex than male. It consisting of a pair of ovaries. These two are ovaries. Okay, fallopian tube. This is the fallopian tube or oviduct, and a muscular organ called uterus. Okay, we have to discuss in detail. First of all, ovaries. Dear students, a pair of small oval-shaped organs attached to the back side of the abdomen. These two are ovaries. The female germ cells or eggs are produced in it. Okay, they are also responsible for the production of certain sex hormones. Okay, when a girl child is born, the ovaries already contains thousands of egg cells. On reaching puberty, some of these egg cells start maturing. Is it clear? And second portion is called the fallopian tubes or oviduct. You can see that a pair of tubes that start from each ovaries to the uterus. It carries the eggs to the uterus and a fertilization process takes place here. Okay, you can see that the uterus, it's a large thick-walled muscular organ. The lower narrow portion is called cervix. After fertilization, the developing embryo is implanted into the uterus. Okay, especially on the wall of the uterus and grows there till the birth takes place. You are very familiar. The uterus opens into a narrow tube called vagina. Okay. Next one, what is fertilization? You are very familiar. Fertilization means the fusion of two gametes. Which are the two gametes? The male gametes and the female gametes. The male gametes are called spermatozoans or sperms, and the female gametes are called ovum. Okay, as a result of the fusion between male gametes and the female gametes, a single cell will form. It is called zygote. Okay, so the fertilization is the process of fusion of spermatozoa and a mature ovum. Is it clear? This is fertilization. Dear students, after fertilization, the zygote gets implanted in the lining of the uterus and start dividing. The uterus prepares itself to receive the growing embryo. The inner lining of the uterus becomes thickened and is richly supplied with the blood to nourish the growing embryo. All these are the changes occur in the uterus at the time of fertilization. Dear students, all these changes occur in the inner lining of the uterus for receiving the fertilized ovum. That means the zygote. Is it clear? Dear students, now we have to discuss about what is placenta. So in this diagrammatic representation, you can see that this is the structure of uterus. Inside the uterus, you can see the embryo is growing. you can see that there is a special type of tissue connection between the embryo and the wall of the uterus, means the uterine wall. Okay, the embryo gets nutrition from the mother's blood with the help of the specialized tissues. The specialized tissues we can collectively call the placenta. Is it clear? Special type of connection between embryo and uterine wall we can collectively call the placenta. What are the functions of placenta? Yes, the embryo, they are getting nutrition from the mother's blood with the help of placenta. Okay, it contains villi on the embryo side of the tissue which carries the glucose and oxygen to the embryo. Okay, the developing embryo, it will also generate waste substances which can be removed by transferring them into the mother's blood through the placenta. So the placenta plays an important role in the development of the embryo. Is it clear? And you are very familiar, the development of the child inside the mother's body takes approximately 9 months. The child is born as a result of the rhythmic contractions of the muscles in the uterus. The birth of the fully formed fetus is called parturition. Okay, this is something about the detailed characteristic features of reproductive system in humans. Dear students, what happens when the egg is not fertilized? You are very familiar, fertilization occur in the fallopian tube. You just imagine if the eggs are or the ovum released from the ovary, at that time the sperms are present, what happened? The fertilization will be there. Suppose we think about what happens when the egg is not fertilized. Yes, listen. If the egg is not fertilized, what happens? The egg lives for about 1 day. Since the ovary release one egg every month, the uterus also prepare itself every month to receive a fertilized egg that we have already discussed. Okay, there are so many changes occur inside the uterus for receiving the embryo. Thus, its lining becomes thick and spongy. This would be required for nourishing the embryo if the fertilization had takes place. Now, however, this lining is not needed any longer. Why? Because there will be no fertilization. So, the lining slowly breaks and come out through the vagina as the blood and mucus. Dear students, the cycle takes place roughly every month and is known as menstruation. Okay, it's usually lasts for about 2 to 8 days. The detailed aspects of menstruation and the menstrual cycle you will learn in higher classes. Dear students, I hope you have understood all the aspects related to human reproductive system. Okay, you have to go through this video lesson again and again for better understanding. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.